not all supplements are created equal. So a little shift from your typical motivation, typical death reckoning that we talked about last time, and into a world of what you're taking could be just expensive urine. That's right. And if you've never dove into the realities of how companies make money, and more specifically, the fitness and nutrition industry, it is a hot mess. It really is. It's a hot mess. There was an article 2 years ago. I think it was out of the New York Times. We can look it up. But GNC got basically audited. They got checked. And GNC, I'm picking on. So dang it, I probably won't have a sponsorship from GNC on my podcast. But oh well, we'll find somebody else. And here, but they ended up getting checked, and like 4 of their 7 products basically had nothing that they claimed in there, or very trace amounts of it. It was like dead. It was like, just might as well throw some bread in your stomach, and it has no nutritional value. Like white bread, just no nutritional value, hardly any vitamins, hardly any, whatever they claimed it to be. And, but it's kind of a vague story, a general story about a scenario that happened. But one of the things that we get in the office all the time is people questioning, like, oh my gosh, like, it's expensive. I said, yeah. And they look at me and they're like, well, kind of like, why? Like, I'm willing to pay them out, but why? And so I find myself oftentimes explaining basically how this all comes about. And as if anything, there is quality as it goes. This is like Lexus. Lexus stepped up and said, look, if we're going to create a brand that is a luxury brand outside of Toyota at the time being known for its reliability, they wanted to create a luxury brand that would literally take out Mercedes. And they knew that they were stepping into that world. And so everything that they did in Lexus was turned over and over and over and over to be above and beyond that which Mercedes had done. And Mercedes at the time had been stumbling a little bit, financial troubles. They looked at joining with Daimler Chrysler. And so Lexus was able, and into its literally the storefronts that you'd walk into, everything was done at that level that was above and beyond. The marble inlays and all these types of things. Like Lexus even put asphalt in their roof line, actually just a thin layer of asphalt, because they found that that was what created the experience in the ride, to make it as quiet as possible. And they had layers of it in the door, all these types of things. So anyways, they just went to this level that was above and beyond, and Lexus just boomed. I mean, from a car manufacturer, it was like the car to have. Like if you could get a Lexus, and this was in the late 90s and going into probably like mid 90s into, there was some like early 90s Lexus that if you could get a hold of, like the LS400, all these types of things were just absolutely incredible. The GS300 was something I wanted all the time because I was right out of college. That thing was like a sports car. But they had this couple decades of run that was just like, if you had a Lexus, man, that was the thing. But it's the same thing in supplements. There are Lexuses of supplements. Now, Lexus has had its challenges over the last decade here, but and Mercedes has really kind of stepped up, and quietly Porsche has stepped in to be the next kind of higher end luxury car that is not only most reliable, but they're doing it at the level that it should have been in the first place. But you have all these things come together, and we understand this on different aspects. We know like good home builders and good car builders, and we desire some of the finer things. It used to be that the Ritz, like you go to the Ritz, you have an experience. Like you don't go to the Ritz and question how much it's going to cost, because you're buying an experience, you're buying the quality, you're buying everything. You know everything is going to be at that highest level. And so it goes with supplements. The supplements, there is a vast, vast world of difference in their manufacturing and their quality and all these types of things that actually add to something that you're going to put in your stomach, like down the hatch into your stomach, that's going to have an impact on your body or not. And unfortunately, the majority of it has no significant impact in your body. And they've done studies after studies after studies. This is why companies are stepping up and saying, hey, we're going to be the quality control of this because, boom, we want that Lexus of supplements. We want that Mercedes. We want that Porsche of supplements so that people, this is more about health and actually driving people to get a response to move towards a healthier environment than just selling a widget, just selling some sort of filler. And so I read an article on the Utah Valley that there was, I had noticed as we travel out there from Elko quite a bit and, hitting different stores, shopping, we had events out there. And I noticed over the years that it was like, gosh, there's a lot of supplement companies that popped up here. And some were like, some were multi-level businesses and stuff like that. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but there was, I love a side hustle and all these types of things. But, in a multi-level business, it's always a questionable thing. Is this about, for instance, a supplement, or is it about the business? Because there's a lot of times it's a lot of focus on the business. Yeah, we got a good supplement, but let's focus on how you can get the supplement in so many people's hands. And it's always that. And understand, it's business. And so in business, sometimes things are cut. And in the Utah Valley, you look at some of the history there. There was, I believe it was a senator that lifted the restrictions on manufacturing of supplements. And we'll even go back further than that. In 1994, the FDA said, look, we are washing our hands of this. I don't agree with the FDA. I got a lot of issues with the FDA, but the FDA basically said, look, we're washing our hands of the supplement industry. And so supplements, go do what you want to do, but you're going to put this disclosure that anything and any claims that you've made on this are not supported by the FDA. Like that matters, but the FDA will approve stuff that kills people all the time. That's not the point, but the FDA says, look, we just don't want to regulate it. And so the companies have been left to themselves to regulate their quality. And it is true that not all supplements are manufactured the same. This is not a level playing field. And so in the Utah Valley, the restrictions were lifted to do what? To get manufacturing companies to flood to the Utah Valley so that what? That Utah Valley could have tax revenue, they could have business, they could have a variety of different things that go on when business thrives in there. So they had communities that would pop up, and all those odds and ends. There's a church that would go in the middle of the community. You always see a steeple out in Utah, and so there was a reason why they did that. And that was to what? To bring more money, more revenue to a state, to an area, to a region. It wasn't about the supplements. Of course it wasn't. And most people don't flock to. I bet it could be created, but if the state senator stepped up and said, hey, we're going to actually make the restrictions a lot more intense, that we're only going to let certain manufacturing companies of supplements that meet these criteria into our state, there would probably even be a flock of less, but you'd know that they're quality. So anytime I look at the Utah Valley, I'm going to question what? I'm going to question the manufacturing processes. All right. And then there's other companies. There's other companies like Standard Process and Metagenics that hold themselves to a standard that is above and beyond. It is a standard that they've actually submitted themselves to what they call GMP certification. GMP Labs basically spawned off this 1994 kind of FDA act that said, hey, we will create a lab that you can submit all of your supplements for testing. But what it says is that if that does not hold true, meaning your ingredients list does not hold true to what we find in our tests, then you do not get the certification. Or if you have the certification, you lose that certification. And in that aspects of actually quality control, the bar just got raised. And so when we are in our office and you're talking about, hey, this supplement's a little bit more. Yeah, well, this company spends $1.5 million on their quality control. So you're going to pay for that. But I can guarantee that 110% of what is on that, because they actually go above, you can't imagine like, well, what we claim on here, we're going to put 100% of that. Well, they don't want, because if that gets tested and it's 99.9% of what because some glitch in there. So they go up to 110%. So you're getting 10% more than what they claim just so the company is safe. pretty cool. But what you are seeing is a standard that is brought up to what the science purports. Meaning you can read science and says, hey, vitamin C is absolutely incredible for you. And if you take it, it has an antiviral effect. It reduces C-reactive protein. You have all these different things that goes on in the body. It reduces cholesterol because of its binding capacity. It actually does a variety of things that I could go off. And we'll make a podcast about vitamin C because you need to know it. But the concept is that if you're taking a vitamin C from Walmart and taking a vitamin C like a liposomal C that I get from a company, there's drastic difference in your absorption rates. Or even worse so, people take a lot of these things and they'll be like, I didn't see anything. Like, what do you mean you didn't see anything? Well, it had no effect. Well, it's got to have an effect. Because we know that you are deficient in that, and if you're deficient in that, you plug that in. So one of two things: your gut is either not absorbing it, or two, you took just like a filler. You took it from that. So people are like, yeah, but at Costco is really cheap. I get it, but this is not the game to play cheap. All right, where you're just like, okay, I need knee surgery. Let's go and find the cheapest surgeon out there. Well, you don't want to do that because what? The scalpels, you don't know where they come from. You risk an infection. You risk some sort of complication from the doctor not knowing what they do. It's like, yeah, I have my first knee surgery, but I'm willing to give it a shot. No, you would seek out something that was up and above. And so it should be with your supplements. If you are supplementing a diet, and it should be nothing more than that, supplementing a diet, targeting some things in your world, then it should be at the highest level, you would think. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to improve your health position. You're trying to elevate from one status to another status in your health. You're trying to overcome sickness. You're trying to overcome some sort of disease state that's starting to settle into your body so that you do not succumb to that disease state, so that sickness doesn't turn into a disease, or you're elevating your game to perform at a higher level. The performance athletes get it, for the most part. And I won't say all of them, but most of them get it in the aspect of like, I'm looking for quality. But a lot of times people don't even know how to look for quality. So good manufacturing processes, a GMP certification is one. But doing your research on the lab itself, doing the research on where they get it, do they own their lab? Do they have their own lab? Or do they contract with a different lab? Do they just actually have a lab make all of their stuff for them? These are good questions, because where is the quality control? And in that quality control, you will find significant difference on the product, and then significant difference in the response of the host, the body. What you're taking in and what that response is should be exactly as it claims to be. Now, the other component of it that we are drastically changing real quick in our office is how we evaluate what you need. The symptoms that you present with and or the angles that you're trying to achieve in your overall health need to be evaluated. And in live blood, taking some blood out of your finger, out of a finger prick, putting it on a microscope and looking, and we can see completely what your blood is doing at that moment. It's not perfect. Sometimes it actually basically necessitates further lab, further testing, further things, but at least we can see it. And a lot of people, we can dial these types of things. So if you're curious on that, you and I need to meet. We need to have a conversation and say, okay, what are you going through? What are we looking for? What are we trying to find? And then be able to target that. Instead of taking a broad range of ineffective and poorly manufactured products, you can come into a world of specific, meeting your needs and what your body is currently going through, and high quality. And your absorption of these types of things and the effect and the impact will meet the science. I love this. Why not manufacture something at a level that meets what the science says it could do, compared to using the science to promote or market your product? Say that again, because this has a huge impact. There are so many companies that use the science to promote their product, and the very few that actually make their product to meet the science. Meaning that, okay, these are the dosages that We saw this is the quality of it, so this is exactly what we're going to put in there. And I'm going to elevate the game for you. I've been in works to be able to work with a lab and come up with specific formulas that have been more effective, proven more effective, that we can actually just isolate down and have. I can control for you the quality of the products that we bring in. So that means the vitamin C that you're going to get is above and beyond anything else that I can find. Meaning you're going to get 100% pure, the purest quality, purest way and delivery form of vitamin C outside of putting it in your vein, which we're going to be doing as well. And so it doesn't matter if you're taking a multivitamin, you're spending needless money on something that has no impact if you're not looking at the quality. So in light today, we shed some science, we shed some light, if you will, some facts of the world of manufacturing products, that there are very few labs, when you get down to this, that are manufacturing products for a wide variety of companies. But if there is a company that is willing to work with a doctor, with a company that is willing to manufacture at a status, at a level that nobody else is, and not just sell their products to everybody that they can, not knowing and finding businesses that don't really care what's in it, but have a good logo and have good marketing, you will find a product that has an impact that drives you to where you want to go. What a travesty that there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, even millions of people that are taking supplements on a daily basis, thinking that they are doing something for their health, no longer moving their body and their health in a positive direction, but actually still losing health while they're spending money and thinking they're doing something good. So I challenge you, as I always do today, to look at the products that you're taking. You want to get with me directly? That's fine. Get with me directly. Call my staff, call my office, message me, and we will have a conversation. Because why not? If you're going to do something like this, why not do it well? Why not have it at the highest standard that's out there? Why not have it at the highest level that you can? What you will get at your gym, what you get at a health food store, what you get at the grocery store, what you get at a nutritional company like GNC, is this happenstance. You just don't know. It is a shotgun approach. So if you're not getting the results that you think you should out of the supplements that you're taking, you need to quantify basically what that company is doing. Let me see it. Where do you manufacture it? How do you manufacture it? What standards do you hold yourself to? You don't want to do the work? I've done the work for you. Come in and play. Come and play in our world, and we'll have a lot of fun. We'll move you in the direction that you want to go. Help you meet your health goals. Help your body heal the way it was designed to be healing. Not all supplements are manufactured equally. Not all supplements are equal in their effect. Question it today, and you might just find yourself living up and above, thriving rather just surviving. Gut cramping versus full absorption. I've been there. In college, we got what we could. Protein powder that'd plug you up for years. Probably still in my digestive system. I don't even know what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you. In light, but in love, we are bringing you some of the greatest that science has to offer, manufactured at the level that the science has proven to see impacts in people's health, their sickness, and disease. Come play with us. Ask me questions. We're diving into yourself. Up to you. Levels that you can play. But there are levels above where you can thrive. In love and light. We'll talk to you next time.